35 John Hammer Street in Accra. Hello, good afternoon to you. Welcome to the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. My name is Noble Crosby Annan. The bulletin is also live on all our social media platforms at 3FM 927. Coming up this afternoon, Cadet Magistrate Court remands suspect arrested in connection with an alleged assault on a Cadet Senior High School technical teacher. We'll get the details in the bulletin.
The sit-down strike that we intended to have has been put on hold because the IGP has given a listening ear to our call. I must also take this opportunity to thank President John Dramani Mahama.
We'll get details in the bulletin. Also, President John Dramani Mahama says his administration has laid a solid foundation for Ghana's long-term development as he commemorates 1 year second anniversary. And also coming up this afternoon, resident of Tema protest what they describe as indiscriminate sale of the defunct Meridian Hotel to unknown private developer. We have details of these stories and more coming to you shortly. Please stay with us. From here, the Ghana Police Service, in collaboration with the Cyber Security Unit, has arrested 5 suspects in connection with the assault on a tutor at Cadet Senior High Technical School. The suspect appeared in court early this morning and have been remanded to reappear on the 20th of January 2026. And the arrest follows the circulation of a viral video showing a group of individuals believed to be both current and former students of the school assaulting the tutor. The attack was allegedly sparked by the teacher's refusal to allow the suspects to engage in examination malpractice during last year's West African Senior School Certificate examination. Earlier this week, President Mahama lamented the increasing acts of indiscipline in school and the need for the law to take its course.
And a safe and secure working environment is a must. Indeed, I saw that video of I think it was a maths teacher being beaten because when he was invigilating, he refused to allow our children to cheat. And they had a sense of entitlement. And so why did you not allow us to cheat? And the unfortunate thing is that the matter went to the police station, and the parents of the students went to the police and they said they settled the matter amicably. I mean, how is that? This is assault, is criminal, you know. But when we inquired, the police also said, I think the teacher was compensated, so he didn't want to press charges anymore. But I said, at least the children should have been booked. They should have been taken through the legal process. And at least, if nothing at all, they should have been bonded to be of good behavior for a period of time. And then we'll believe that justice has been done. But just for parents to come and, you know, pay a little compensation, it will encourage others to do the same. You know, and so as for assaults on teachers, I am with you 100%. We will deal with it.
And that's the voice of President John Dramani Mahama speaking there. Correspondent Yvonne Nikwe, she's joining us on the phones with details of the arrest and subsequent remand of the suspect. Yvonne, thank you for joining us. Good afternoon to you. Tell us about the arrest of the suspect and what transpired in court today.
Good afternoon, Crosby. And so, before today, we do know that that viral video you did made a reference to a group of youth believed to be some former students and current students allegedly attacked the teacher in the community. And so the police had to fish out who they were. This morning, 4 of them actually were brought to court by the police. The Midday Magistrate Court has sentenced 3 of them who were 18 years to prison custody and one of them, the fourth person, is 17 years to the juvenile court, but he will be at the police custody. And here we are supposed to reappear to court by 20th of January for the matter we finally joined. Now, today was an emotional moment for both the parents and relatives of this person because they knew that even when they had gone to the student's house to have a mix of discussions, the law would still have to take its course. The members of the intermediate are happy about the ruling so far. They're hoping that justice is served so that students will be deterred from these actions because if students continue to engage in examination of
if you can hear me, I'd like for you to adjust your position. There's a lot of noise coming from where you are.
Hello, Cousin. Are you okay?
This is better.
Okay. So let me quickly bring you up to speed. I was saying that there was an emotional moment at the Kede Magistrate Court today by parents and the foster because they couldn't believe that justice would take on and the law itself would deal with them. And so the members of the Eastern region is actually happy about the turnout in court today. The fosters actually pleaded guilty. They did take into consideration that they acted wrongly and so they have been found at the side of the law. They have to reappear in court on January 20th. And Nagas is hoping that by then, justice will be served its teachers to free students from actions where assaulting teachers and then disciplining continue to maintain in school so that we don't have these things happening again in our senior high school and by extension even at the basic senior high school.
Yvonne, before you take leave of us and before we hear from Nagrat, what reasons did the prosecution give for seeking a remand? And where have the suspects been remanded to?
Well, the suspects in this particular case are 4. 3 of them are 18 years, and so they have been remanded at the prison custody. One of them, actually the 4th, will be at the police custody, and the juvenile court will deal with his case because he is below the 18 year actually. Now, the court took into consideration their ages, and then they willfully agreeing, as it says, that indeed they had assaulted the teacher and then alone in the action and pleaded the court took mercy on them. And so these were exactly what took place in the court. And so by 20th, we're hoping that the Kede Magistrate Court will bring finality to the case and then the teachers will be served the justice.
Yvonne, thank you. Thank you so much. Yvonne Ukwe is our Eastern Regional Correspondent speaking with us. That we can now take a listen to the Eastern Regional Nagrat reacting to the development.
And as a union, we must say we are very happy for the outcome of the court proceedings. And we are hoping that on the 20th January 2026, when courts sit on that matter, I think the judge will not mince his ways. As he indicated, you could say that he is a man of principle, a man who wants to uphold discipline in our institutions. And we must recommend him for that. And also, when the president came in, it gave us the assurance that discipline needs to be effected on the student for them to learn a lesson. Based on this, I'm using this criteria to urge all students across the entire country to be mindful of their behavior in the various schools. They should not follow their friends who may throw them into a ditch. They are there to learn, and that should be their primary focus. So that at the end of the day, or at the end of their year period in school, they will be able to further their education, become whatever they want to be. Some of them will become teachers and other things. And if other students are also supposed to do the same thing to them, what will be the effects? So we must say that we are very grateful to the court, and we are also grateful to the IGP for the swift response to our press conference, which has averted our intended indefinite sit-down strike action. And I must also recommend the Director General of Ghana Education Service, Professor Davis, for his positive action taken, and we are very grateful to him.
So that's the reaction of Yevu Godwin, the Eastern Regional NAGRAT chairman, in relation to the remand of the suspects there. We'll be keeping an eye on this development to bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. But at the moment, President John Dramani Mahama says his administration has laid a solid foundation for Ghana's long-term development, 1 year after assuming office amid significant economic challenges. Speaking at a non-denominational Thanksgiving service at the Jubilee House to mark the first anniversary of his inauguration following victory in the 2024 general elections, President Mahama said his government had taken necessary but difficult decisions to reform the economy. And he noted that while the measures have tested the resilience of Ghanaians, they were critical to resetting the country's development path and restoring economic stability. The president expressed gratitude to citizens for their patience and support, stressing that the sacrifices they made today are intended to secure sustainable progress in the years ahead.
As we look back on the past year, we do so honestly. We have taken difficult decisions. We have undertaken difficult reforms. We've laid the foundations that may not yet be visible, but are sustainable for the sustainable progress of our country. We have prioritized economic stabilization, institutional reform, social protection, and the restoration of confidence, both within our country and in the international community. The work we have begun is far from finished. But today reminds us that progress is not measured only by numbers and by charts and diagrams. It is also measured by hope that is restored, by trust that is rebuilt, and correct direction that is regained. Thanksgiving must also be accompanied by recommitment. And so today, we recommit to ethical leadership. We recommit ourselves to service above self. We recommit ourselves to governance anchored in integrity, competence, and compassion. We recommit ourselves to listening, especially to the voices of our vulnerable, our youth, and those who feel excluded. And we recommit ourselves to the unity of our nation, knowing that Ghana's strength has always come from our ability to rise above division and work together for the common good.
That's the voice of President John Dramani Mahama there. Well, my colleague Grace Samwajiman, she has been out and about eliciting public opinion on the first year of President Mahama's reign. Grace, thank you for joining us. Good afternoon to you. What have they been telling you? What is the mood of the general public regarding President Mahama's first year in office?
Right, Crosby. So thank you for the opportunity. We have been moving from the various principal streets of the capital. We are currently here at one of the spare parts hub in Accra, that is about to time. From the interactions we've had with people, even away from here as well as here, it is more of a goodwill move. And it looks like everybody is okay or pleased with the president's performance so far. The move here is one that is good. A few divergent views here and there, but I can say that it is a good move here from all the people we have spoken.
I see. Unfortunately, I lost Grace Hamwajiman there, but she largely was able to answer the question about what the response of the public has been to President Mahama's 1 year reign. Let's now take a listen to some ministers of state and appointees who have expressed hope in the Mahama-led administration to purposefully drive the country to growth and prosperity.
We are very hopeful that God has been merciful and great to all the people of Ghana. And we are very hopeful that God will continue to bless His Excellency the President, give him the wisdom to be able to govern this country and to ensure that all the sectors of our economy will do well so that the benefit will come to all the people of Ghana. In my part as the Securities and Exchange Commission, we are also doing our best to ensure that the investor community is given assurance. We have just passed the Virtual Asset Service Providers Bill into an act, which the President has already assented to it, so that all those people who do crypto and other things will be regulated by my office, so that the investor sector will be promoted.
And what lies ahead? Well, it's been very great, a lot of challenges, but by the grace of God, I mean, we've been able to surmount all those challenges. At the moment, everybody in this country can look back and say, this is how far God has brought us. We inherited a very terrible economy. At the moment, we all know that the economy is stable. There are a lot of new policies we have introduced. We are looking at the sustainability, and 2026 we are going to do more. So it's been good, it's been pressure, but by the grace of God, we've been able to.
It has shown that President John Dramani Mahama has reflected what we thought about him, the man who would come to save Ghana. It has reflected it in his 1 year. It has shown that Ghana has taken its place in the community of the world and in Africa. It has shown that we are reflecting our true selves as Ghanaians. It shows that the economy can even grow better. It shows that Ghanaians are committed and willing to go along with great leadership. And I'm happy that we are thanking God for it today, and we are showing that we are grateful to God and grateful also to the leadership.
1 year down the line, we'll be very happy what the President said, that the resilience, we'll see that the foundation was very strong. But look at the Feed Ghana program. I'm sure you saw what the President showed. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Honorable Eric Opoku, my minister, and a lot of initiatives that we have put in. They were all 1 year. It's, mind you, and we deal with crops, and it's a seasonal thing. So you are going to see the results, that all the things that he has put in. If it's about you see them just 3 old chicks. Now we are going to see them growing, and then we'll see what we are talking about, economy of Ghana. For us, we are coming out with an investment fair that you will see. All these things will be explained, and you will come in and take advantage of what is going to happen in the tree crop sector.
The voices of some ministers reacting to President Mahama's 1 year reign and expressing hope in the Mahama-led administration to purposefully drive the country to growth and prosperity. Well, 12 months after President Mahama was sworn into office for a second term, many Ghanaians have lauded him for settling in on a firm foundation despite lingering questions of over delivery of some campaign promises and governance and his governance style in general. Christabel Sasas-Trevor, she has more in this year concerning Mr. Mahama's reign in this report.
About 1 year ago, President John Dramani Mahama was once again sworn in as President of the Republic of Ghana at the Black Star Square.
The laws of the Republic of Ghana, so help me God.
Congratulations! For Ghana, it was another peaceful transfer of power from one administration to the other. For Mahama, it was a second chance at the helm of affairs. When President Mahama returned to office, expectations were high. His pledge was to run a leaner government. A reduced number of ministers presented as a move to cut expenditure and improve efficiencies.
But almost a year on, analysts say the real question is not how many ministers were appointed, but whether the structure has delivered better outcomes.
Overall, apart from 1 or 2, I was called the president government, Mr. Mahama's government, a B+, close to an A. There are about 4 policies of every government worldwide that affect the ordinary citizen wherever you find yourself. Out of these 4, interest rate, what's it called? The third one is debt to GDP, and then the CD2, the exchange to the major currencies as well.
Beyond cabinet size, the administration spent much of its first year launching and reintroducing major projects.
I promise to convene a national consultative conference on education to build consensus on the necessary improvements to our education sector. I promise to reintroduce the distribution of free sanitary pads to female students in primary and secondary schools. We promise to lay before Parliament a new bill to streamline administration and prohibit political appointees from accessing government scholarships.
Supporters say the focus has been on laying the foundation rather than quick wins. Critics argue that after a year, citizens should begin to feel tangible results.
Overall, apart from one or two, I was called the president government, Mr. Mahama's government, a B+, close to an A. There are about 4 policies of every government worldwide that affect the ordinary citizen wherever you find yourself. Out of these 4, interest rate, debt to GDP, and then the CD2, the exchange to the major currencies as well.
Mahama's return has reshaped the tone of governance. Parliament has seen moments of cooperation alongside sharp disagreements. The executive-legislature relationship has tested the administration's commitment to accountability and transparency.
Several key promises fulfilled, Mahama's return has been marked by swift action and decisive leadership. However, concerns have been raised concerning the effective implementation of the 24-hour economy.
I think the president will have to use some unconventional means to jobs. In their manifesto, they spoke about Light Up Ghana, which also found space in the 2020 manifesto, which was Street Lighting Authority.
My colleague Christabel Sasa-Trevor with that report. And now the Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu, has clarified that the Mahama-led administration will not issue a white paper on the ongoing constitutional review process. The Tamale South legislature explained that the constitution review report submitted to President Mahama is currently being scrutinized by a team of legal experts. We'll bring you the voice of Haruna Idrisu in subsequent bulletins. But moving on, the Tema Meridian Hotel is back in the news as some youth in Tema protest an alleged takeover and planned redevelopment of the defunct hotel site by a private developer. The hotel, which was opened in 1960 by Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, has for years remained in a dilapidated state with visible cracks raising serious safety concerns, and residents say the abandoned structure has become a death trap posing a risk to the surrounding community. However, the protesting youth say their concern goes beyond safety. They oppose what they describe as the indiscriminate sale of land with deep cultural and historical significance to the people of Tema. According to them, the Meridian Hotel site represents the original settlement of the Tema people before their relocation to present-day Tema Mahia, and should be preserved as part of the area's heritage. George Queening has been on the site, and then he's joining us. George, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. What exactly are the protesters demanding regarding the future of the Tema Meridian Hotel site?
Well, thank you so much. And like you rightly mentioned, the Tema Meridian Hotel has some cultural and historical background. So it means a lot to the people here. And they told me that when they were building this very facility in 1960, there were plans to cut this baobab tree that is rooted in the middle of the site. When the contractors did that, the next day they came, the plant had, come back again fully with all branches. So clearly there's some spiritual connotations here. So anytime there's any festival, pledge or more, they come here to do rituals here. So it's an ancestral home. What they are demanding is government should return the land back to them. And there should not be any sort of development by any developer. So this is actually the third time they are breaking walls that have been erected by the developer. So they'll continue to do this until government hits their plea. So this is what they need. They need the land back to them, return to the stool. When Kwame Nkrumah was taking the land from them, he didn't pay a dime to them. So they don't see why this land will be disposed of without prior consultation. So what they did is they need their land returned to the school. Basically, that's what the protesters are demanding.
So who is the alleged private developer, and what do we know so far about the proposed plan?
Okay, so Isaac Tettenson is the secretary to the Tema Hido. And he mentioned that according to the MP for Tema East, Isaac Dampton, Octaglo this land was sold to them in 2007. So Octaglo is the alleged private developer who is actually going to redevelop this very area. But like I mentioned, protesters are not willing. They are not going to budge. Any sort of development that will be done here will not see the light of day. Government should get sense. That's what they want. No sort of development should happen here because the God is here. There are things they told me personally. I know there's this spirituality, but there was actually a cold store that was here, and anytime they put in fish in the evening, there are maggots inside. So they thought it was actually the fridge that was faulty. They fixed it in the same thing. So clearly the gods are really concerned, and they're not doing something right. So the gods should be appeased to ensure things here are okay, because there are hotels that were built before Meridian Hotel, but they are still, vibrant and, cashing and all that. So why is Meridian not really, viable? So that's it.
And briefly, George, have the Tema Metropolitan Assembly or the traditional authorities, have they responded to the concerns?
Yeah, so I've spoken to Ibi Bright, who says she wishes she would talk about this later, not now. It's quite a heated issue. It's quite sensitive. So let me just put out the story, but later I can engage it, but not...
Thank you.
Sure. Basically.
Thank you. George Queening speaking with us there. Now, before we go, the festive season may only just have ended, quickly giving way to a different kind of reality. And with schools reopening, families are now confronted with costs, all landing at once in what is already considered the toughest financial month of the year. Grace Amwajiman has more in this report.
Barely weeks after the Christmas festivities, Ghanaian households are being jolted back into another season, back to school. Millions of students across the country are preparing for another term, with some already back in school. For students, it is a good way to begin the new year.
I'm going with Gary, Kivo, and them things. So I'm happy to go back to school.
Milo, and biscuit, drink. I'm excited to go back to school to go and learn, continue my education, then get more time for study.
But behind these excited students are parents who are feeling the pinch. From uniforms and books to transport and feeding costs, parents say the financial pressure this January has been intense.
It's very, very difficult. Because of that, the Christmas, you can't eat it well. You can't enjoy it because the children are going to school. So you have to keep your money and buy their provisions and other things. So that's why it's very difficult for me, the parent.
40-year-old single mother, Patience, has come to the New Plan station to see her child off to school. Patience tells me she had to cut down on her Christmas expenditure to make up for the school expenses.
I'm a single mother. I never paid from 14 years. And therefore, Mammy Crabet, Roma.
I lost my husband 14 years ago, and it's not been easy with the kids. So I save a lot in order to raise the funds I will need.
For the full report, you can join us at 5 p.m. on Hot Edition here on 3FM 92.7, also on our social media platforms at 3FM 927. But that's our package for you this afternoon. There's more news on our website, 3news.com. My name is Noble Crosby Annan, and Business News is up next. Have a great afternoon.